Hello, my friends. My name is Dr. Bree. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I'm passionate about the mind, body, pelvic health connection. And today we're talking about exercises and techniques for sexual vitality. And these are completely non-Kegel exercises. So these exercises are for all genders. It doesn't matter if you are a male, a female, if you are partnered, if you are single, you can join me for these great tips and techniques. So let's get right into it. But first, if you think that this channel that I have is something you might like to keep up with, please subscribe and go ahead and click the little bell to get notifications so that you never miss a new video. All right, so let's dive in with the first non-Kegel exercise to improve sexual vitality. So this really harnesses the fact that the brain is our body's biggest sex organ. Yes, you heard that right. The brain, what's going on between your ears as far as stress, anxiety, emotional or mental tension, this really impacts your ability to have satisfying sex. So our first exercise is called the physiological sigh. Now, this is something that has been shown to be very effective even when you are in the stressful situation. So it's not like you have to go and completely remove yourself from the situation. You can do this anywhere. And even when you're in the stressful situation, you will find relief by doing just a few rounds of this particular breath pattern. So what this is you are going to take 2 sharp inhales in, and then you're going to take a long, slow exhale out. They don't have to be super sharp and hard inhalations, but you want to inhale and then inhale a little bit more and then exhale long and slow. So the focus is on the long and slow exhale. So in through your nose and out through your mouth. 2 breaths in, 1 long, slow breath out. Give it a try with me right now. So it looks like this. Now, you can do it even softly so that nobody knows you're doing it. If you're in a situation where you're like, I have date night coming up. I've got, something going on with my partner, or I just want to feel better so that I can have these feelings of intimacy and vitality in my body for myself. So even if you are single and you still want to feel that energy of turn on and aliveness, but you're stressed, this is a great tool to use. So 2 breaths in, 1 long, slow exhale out. Give it a try. Now, a little bonus tip is that with this physiological sigh, you can also add a sound to that physiological sigh. So what this would look like would be, Now, the reason I consider this to be an exercise for sexual vitality, adding the sound, adding the toning, is that first of all, anatomically, we are connected from head to foot, and there are actual connections in our body between our pelvic floor muscles, our pelvic area, and our breathing diaphragm and our throat area. So it actually can impact your pelvic floor when you tone, when you sing, when you make sounds. The other thing is I have personally found in my own life that once I started making more sounds in my emotional release practices, in my breathing practices, my breath work, once I started actually releasing sounds, it translated into releasing sounds more often when I was intimate, when I was having sex, when I was intimate with myself or with my partner. Releasing sounds makes the sexual experience so much better for many, many people. So you can begin by practicing during your physiological sigh. So again, physiological sigh, 2 breaths in, 1 long, slow breath out, with or without sound. I say add sound if you can. Now, it's been shown that the physiological sigh can be helpful for calming the nervous system, calming the mind, releasing stress and tension with just 2 or 3 breaths, but you can do it for as long as 5 minutes. All right, the next exercise I'm going to share with you is another breathing exercise. And this is one that's really nice to do right before your intimate experience. Again, you can do this with a partner or while you are set up in your private space and you're ready for some self-pleasure. You can do this right before. This type of breathing is a breathing that actually stimulates arousal. You can actually cause an orgasm with this type of breathing. Some people, not everybody. Everybody, by the way, is different for everything. So everything I say to you, it will work for some people and it won't work for other people. Just know that right off the bat. But for some people, this circular breathing that I'm gonna share with you, connected breathing, it can be actually extremely arousing and can produce sensations or an actual orgasm in some people. This is not necessary, but it can be helpful to begin by inhaling and then exhaling and feeling the rise of energy on the exhale. Now, I want to share with you that some people, and traditionally it's taught, to inhale and feel the rise of energy from your root, your sexual centers on up. I feel as a physical therapist that I personally find it more effective to exhale and feel the lift of my pelvic organs, my pelvic floor. Everything lifts as I exhale based on the way I've been trained to breathe and physiologically the way we do breathe. When our diaphragm lifts, our pelvic floor elevates too. And that happens when you exhale. So for me, while some teachings will say to inhale and feel the rise of sexual energy, for me, I feel the rise of sexual energy when I exhale. So to be honest with you, just breathe and see if you can feel what rises the sexual energy to kind of feel the fire start to flow in your body. Now, that's just a step one. The circular or the connected breathing is basically you're just inhaling and exhaling with no pause. Now, the way that I have been taught to do this connected circular breathing is all through your mouth. And typically we don't want to breathe through our mouth. Typically we want to breathe through our nose, especially those inhalations. We definitely want to come through our nose. The nose cleans and warms and purifies the air before it comes into our body when we breathe through our nose. But for short periods of time, breathing through your mouth can be really, really stimulating, and it can just sort of be a pattern interrupt that changes up the way we do our everyday life. It can be like, we are now entering a sacred space. We are doing something different, and we are doing something that's going to stimulate and arouse our senses. So inhale and exhale through your mouth, no break. So it looks like this. Keep breathing like that. It's just an in and an out. And I'm showing with my hands this expansion through the ribs on the inhale and then the coming in of the ribs as you exhale. So it's in and out all through your mouth. Now, you don't have to go so fast that you hyperventilate by any means, but it's just this idea of going as slow or as fast as you want, but no breaks in between. This is not a calming and relaxing breath pattern. Like the last breath we did was more about calming the mind, that physiological sigh, that long, slow exhale. It calmed the mind. This breath pattern, this in, out, with no real break in between, is much more stimulating and arousing. So if you're doing this by yourself, you might find that your body starts moving a little bit as you do it. That's wonderful. You might start making sounds. That's wonderful too. If you're with a partner, you might find the same thing. Your bodies start moving together. You can put your hand on one another's heart to really connect with each other and with the breath. Another thing that you can do is play with inhaling and exhaling with your partner at the same time. So both of you inhale at the same time and both of you exhale at the same time. Inhale at the same time and exhale at the same time. Or you can play with, while one partner exhales, the other partner is inhaling. And then as the other partner exhales, this partner inhales. So it's like you're almost passing the breath between each other. So it's just different ways to play with it. You can start to feel, as you're circulating this energy, you can start to feel the energy circulating from your sexual centers up through your body in this circular motion, either a circle inside your system, which is often taught. You might also feel this energy exchange around you and back into you, around you and back into you. Basically, just tune into what your body feels and notice what happens. If it helps you to feel like having a timer makes you feel more relaxed, that's wonderful. But if you just want to do it until you start really noticing the energy, that's wonderful too. If you've noticed something about my teachings, it's like there's not a whole lot of rules. It's all about finding what works for you. All right, our next non-Kegel exercise and technique for improving sexual vitality, and this is great for people with pelvic pain or pelvic tension. I work with a lot of people who have a lot of pain in their pelvic area, and penetrative sex is not easy. It might even be impossible right now while they're healing. Or maybe it's never even a goal for them. That's the thing, is everyone's different. Your goals will be different. But this is all about non-genital, non-penetrative self-touch. So the idea here is that we are increasing our body's capacity to feel sensations and to feel pleasure. A lot of us have been in pain for so long that we don't even know what it's like to not be in pain. We don't even know what it's like to feel good. And so this idea of creating like a pleasure map of where you feel good to be touched on your body in non-genital places is really powerful. And I learned this from a colleague of mine. She talked about pleasure mapping, which is creating a map of areas on your body that are green light areas, meaning, yes, I like the way this feels to be touched here. Yellow light areas, like, it's okay. Not 100% green light, but it's not red light. And then red light areas where they are no touch zones. Do not touch here. This can be really helpful if you need to communicate with a partner and you need that partner to truly understand with a visual aid what is a green light zone and what is a red light zone. And of course, these zones can change. Your red light zone may become a yellow light zone and then a green light zone in the future. But for right now, if you have a red light zone, it can be really helpful to literally draw out the outline of a body and then put in red, yellow, and green ink the locations on your body that feel really good for green, kind of okay for yellow, and really bad, do not touch here, for red. Okay, so this pleasure map can be super helpful. Now, just know that there are lots of erogenous zones on our body that are not our genitals. Of course, the genitals are erogenous zones, but there's other erogenous zones too that you might be surprised to learn about. So one, for example, is your inner ankles. For some people, it's between the toes or on the bottoms of the feet. Other people will hate between the toes and the bottoms of the feet. But just know that that can be an erogenous zone for some people. The back of the knee, the inside of the knee, the inner thighs. For some people, the belly is an erogenous zone. For other people, they're gonna hate to have their belly touched. The butt cheeks, the buttocks, that can be an erogenous zone. The armpit for some people. But again, other people are gonna be like, no way, do not touch my armpit ever. For a lot of people, the neck, especially the back of the neck, the nape of the neck, these areas here, definitely erogenous zones, the face, the lips. So play around with different areas, the earlobes, different areas that you love, and start with yourself. Start by learning your zones of pleasure on yourself. You can be clothed or unclothed, and you can use your fingers or you can use like a feather. So play around, have fun with this, and create your own pleasure map. Okay, so in addition to those 3 tips that I just shared with you, the physiological PSI, the connected breathing or the circular breathing, and then the non-genital pleasure zones with your pleasure map, I have 2 bonuses. The first one is hip circles. So hip circles are for all genders, men, women, it doesn't matter, anybody can do hip circles, and it really helps loosen up your low back, your pelvic and hip area, and it brings blood flow to the pelvic area.
In between heats, like to do my hip circles to keep my pelvic floor strong and resilient.
So have fun with hip circles. Everybody can do them. Do them with your partner or do them alone. They're great. The next tip is to simply take care of your pelvic health. Make your pelvic health a priority. And if you are a female watching this, I do have a program that's designed specifically for women called Overcome Pelvic Pain for Women. I also have another course that is called Lift for prolapse relief. Now, if you are a male watching this video and you are wanting some help, I have a ton of videos on my YouTube channel. So I have playlists that are designed for men, and you can check the video description for links and resources. So all of these exercises taken together, not a single Kegel in sight, are going to help your pelvic floor gain strength, vitality, the ability to contract and also relax in response to sexual stimulation, and they're just gonna feel good. So I hope you enjoy them. Please let me know your favorite one in the comments below, and until next time, take care of and prioritize your sexual health and well-being, even if you're not currently in a relationship. Even if you never plan to be in a relationship with somebody else, you can still prioritize pleasure and vitality with yourself. So, eat clean, move every day, prioritize pleasure, and you will shine brighter. I will see you next time.